Greetings and welcome back to our ongoing journey of discovery and growth. Hopefully, you're having fun in the process. We've covered a lot of territory as we begin the fourth tape of our visualization series. You've been given examples of how successful persons in all walks of life utilize imagery to create their dreams, rules and guidelines for effective visualization. You've practiced image streaming to increase the vividness of your mental movies, and used image streaming to identify some of the limiters or unresourceful beliefs in your life. We've discussed the raw materials for change and the three tools, desire, expectation, and imagination, that sculpt your reality from the raw materials. Hopefully, you practiced the roadblock exercises and learned to clear away the debris or soot from your belief screen. We integrated visualization into short and long-term goal setting, complemented by a powerful visual goal technique, treasure charting, or creating a goal board. We discussed 6 categories of goals, how to deprogram limiting beliefs and reprogram empowering beliefs, and you were offered 4 practice or warm-up visualization techniques. And by now, I am certain that you have realized these concepts and processes are not simple, they're not difficult, but intricate, like the subtleties and intricacies of weaving a tapestry, in this instance, a tapestry of success. In this session, I would like to begin pulling the drawstrings a little tighter, firming things up, to provide you with an easy-to-use model, a template that you can incorporate for all your dreams and desired outcomes in your life, so that you can go for it and start having even more fun and joy in your life. Recently, I allowed myself to be bothered by something that had been periodically gnawing away at me. It was not an overwhelming issue, but it caused me to pull back and more or less tread water. I shared my concern with a close friend, and he drew a little sketch that he called his aliveness and survival spiral. The aliveness spiral was an increasingly expanding series of spirals reaching upwards, and his survival spiral was an increasingly contracting series of spirals getting smaller as they went down. The light went on. I realized that my anxiety or butterflies in my stomach caused me to compress myself into a survival mode in that area of my life. It became so clear to me that any kind of challenge can be handled by surviving or playing it safe, or getting into an aliveness mode and expanding the spiral of choices and opportunities. In my career as a sports psychologist, I have seen this phenomena many times. A football team went out in the first half really into their aliveness and ate up the opposition, 24-0 at halftime. The coach said, "Let's hang on, hold them for 30 more minutes, and on the plane ride home, I'll buy the beer." In the second half, the team went into a survival mode, no daring or deceptive plays, hardly any passing, and in trying to protect their lead and survive, they lost 27-24. The aliveness survival phenomena can be a metaphor in other areas of our life. I am certain that when people are in the courtship phase of a new relationship, they're in the big A, aliveness spiral. 5 years later, he's sitting in front of the TV set with a T-shirt and a can of beer, and his spouse is wondering if she should get out of her housecoat and curlers by noon. I have seen the same downgrading of aliveness in companies that decide to play it safe and not change what was creating a passable bottom line. The big 3 automobile manufacturers have been the most notable examples of protect and survive, with disastrous results. However, many people don't know how to create a spiral of success. So many people have a conditioned past based on duty and obligation, and they go on to create a future that is based on duty and obligation, what should be or what is right, or what am I obliged to create according to the consensus norms. Let's take this opportunity to find out what you need to ignite the desire, joy, and sense of fulfillment in your life. Please do this simple exercise before proceeding with the rest of the session. Take several sheets of paper, sit quietly and alone. Then, without thinking or censoring, write as fast as you can what you really want your future to contain. Be sure to distinguish between what is the right answer and what do I really want. Go ahead, script out your future, no restraints, pretend you're in a candy store and you can have it all. Good. I would like to suggest that the first rush of answers contain the clues to both the surface and deeper desires and wants in your life. Next, take some time now to rank order and prioritize your big dreams and mini dreams. A word of caution. Some of the goals you have written out may be symptoms or symptomatic of a deeper or latent dream that has been lying dormant without too much thought or life being breathed into it. For example, a woman in one of my workshops came up with 11 dream seeds, as she called them. One of them was to resume guitar lessons after a 4-year hiatus. As she pondered and prioritized her dream seeds, she realized that she had a lot of musical talent that was, in her words, God-given, but she never acted on it. She became quite emotional and told me that she had been a paralegal because of the sense of duty and the shoulds from her lawyer father. She realized that taking guitar lessons was a symptom of a deeper yearning, and she is now studying classical guitar with an eye to a career as a professional musician. So, check for surface symptoms versus an underlying grander vision or dream. Now, select 6 to 10 dream seeds, more if you wish, or if you prefer to put all your energies into 2 or 3 goals, highlight those desired futures. Opposite each of your dream seeds, designate if it is a short-term goal, that is, can be achieved in up to 6 months or so, a mid-term goal, 6 to 18 or 24 months, or a long-term goal, usually anything over 24 months. Once you have prioritized and timelimed your dreams, next in our interlinked activities to bring about change is doing some homework on ourselves. Don't let the H-word homework turn you off. Processing simply means becoming conscious or aware of all the automatic behavior or subconscious conditioning of all our attitudes, beliefs, and habits that might stand in the way of successful outcomes. For those of you who have already done the processing exercises outlined in the sessions on image streaming and changing old limiting beliefs, you're set and ready to go. If you have not done them, it'll be like swimming upstream, with blind alley detours along the way. You'll eventually make it, but is all that struggle really necessary when you can do it elegantly? So, be sure to process, meditate, ponder, and wonder, which incidentally are the best attitudes to have while doing introspective or inner work. So many people try to change by clothing themselves in a certain way, wearing fashionable colors, owning status symbols, brand names, and other things of eggshell fragility. You cannot effect real change from the outside in. All change, all growth is an inside job. Start from within, and the outside will then reflect your re-educating and reprogramming the old software. Visualizing and programming is also very much like dancing. You can do it smoothly, elegantly like a waltz, or you can break dance and smash dance, which is known as the meat grinder approach to programming. Let me give you an example by asking you to share a fun exercise with a friend. Ask your friend to extend his or her right arm, palm out, then move forward with your extended left arm until your palms are touching, thumb on thumb, little finger on little finger. Without telling your friend the purpose of your nonverbal exercise, begin pushing against their hand. Chances are they will resist and push back. Then change your strategy. Instead of pushing, allow a gentle weaving and undulating swaying of your arms to occur spontaneously, without pushing or forcing, and you will end up doing a very creative palm dance, with the palms more or less writing their own script. This is what programming is all about. It shouldn't be forced, or rushed, or effortful. It should be a cooperative dance between your left and right brains, between your conscious and subconscious minds. It should be fun and something you should look forward to, not, oh no, it's that time again. Have to put my shoulder to the wheel and push hard if I want to get somewhere. No, by all means no. Be light, have fun. Don't push the river. Let it flow on its own. As has been mentioned before, programming should involve the focus of your left brain and the playfulness of your right brain. With practice, you will find your own groove for creating playful focus while visualizing. By now, you have refined and defined 3 to 7 or 8 goals or dreams that you are going to program into your subconscious. You will need a sheet, and each goal should follow this easy-to-use 8-step model. Let us begin with your first goal on your first sheet of paper. The first step, write your dream or goal out as simply as possible. For example, my goal is to increase my sales and total income for the year by 40%. Step 2, why do you want this goal? It's important not only to know what you want, but why you want it. Honesty is very important here. If your goal is more income so I can sleep better at night, or so I'll have more time for other pursuits, that is more real and honest than some lofty humanitarian reason that you half believe and think you should be pursuing. Be clear about your motivation. Third step, for the left brain, which processes words, write out at least 2 affirmations that will support the attainment of your goal. In keeping with our example, 1, I am now earning $120,000 a year. 2, my increased income allows me the freedom to pursue other dreams. Fourth step, for the right brain, which processes images and mental pictures, draw your goal as if it has been achieved. I would suggest you create or draw a collage of at least 4 end goal pictures representing the successful attainment of your goal. Thus, one image might simply be a sketch of your W-2 slip for the year, with your $120,000 earnings typed out. Another sketch might be building an addition to your home, where you will retreat to write the book you have always dreamed about. Another snapshot might include a photograph of you on the office wall of recognition, designating you as Salesperson of the Year for the big increase in sales and earnings. Another sketch, being asked to offer sales seminars both in-house and to other companies, which will add to your yearly income. I'm sure you already have dozens of images flooding your mind. One alternative, and this is what I prefer to do in my programming, is to get a batch of magazines and cut out the illustrations or photos representing your end goal. Many people prefer the colors and realness of illustrated images done by a professional. As previously covered, the reason for creating your affirmation and images in the present as if they're achieved is to create cognitive dissonance so as to stimulate and motivate your unconscious into action. The fifth step, for the midbrain or emotional brain, what feelings will you experience upon the attainment of your goal? Joy, exhilaration, relief, pride, high spirits, and buoyancy. Write them down. I'll be saying much more about the importance of the emotional brain or limbic system shortly, but the important thing is that you have written out your verbal affirmations, drawn your visual affirmations, and crystallized your emotional affirmations so that as you get into the technique, you will be programming simultaneously with all 3 brains. Step 6. This point should have already been processed in an earlier session. Write out what you feel may be your possible roadblocks or hurdles to attaining your goal. For example, it may be a lack of confidence or phobia around making cold calls. A more insidious, subconscious sabotaging belief may be that you are undeserving of earning that much money in 1 year. I'll have more to say about deservability, since for many, struggle and sacrifice and hard work is based upon a core belief embedded in our culture. Unfortunately, struggle is a natural and ever-present byproduct of thinking you don't deserve or you're not good enough for higher octave successes. We have all heard the expression, if it is too easy, you're riding for a fall. Thus, if understanding is the first step to change, make sure you have a good grasp of the cross-currents and whirlpools that might detour your dream. Write them down. Step 7. What qualities do you have to strengthen or develop in yourself in order to attain your goal? If you are a procrastinator, you may wish to take a course in time management. If you wish to increase your sales by 40%, you may want to join Toastmasters, which not only help increase your confidence, but also sharpen and refine your presentation skills. The final step. We can create the most elegant mental software in the world, but unless you commit your dream to action, it might all vaporize away like a puff of smoke. What action step are you going to take tomorrow morning that will detonate or start you journeying on your path of success? Write it down. That is our simple 8-step model for setting and achieving goals. Now, follow the same model, the same easy steps for your remaining 5 to 8 goals. Go ahead, turn off the tape, and create your personal blueprints for success. Before proceeding, I'm going to ask you to consider other qualities for each of your goals. You may wish to make margin notes on each of your goal sheets to support what you have already written down. You have already considered the why you want each goal, but also consider why not. If you have really wanted this dream, you probably would have already manifested it. So, it is important to know the why nots, so you can eradicate them and allow the whys to happen. It may be simply, I didn't really consider going for it until now. Fair enough. But if there is another reason, why not? Next, wonder and ponder. What is this dream going to look like physically? If you are programming to improve your relationship with a coworker, spouse, or one of your children, what will be physically different? How will it look? Just a few words in the margin to give you a feel for it. Now, consider what the attainment of this goal will be like mentally. If you are going to increase your income by 40%, what will you be thinking about when you have that security? Will you still be worried about money? What might you be thinking about? Might it change your relationship with your spouse? What will it feel like emotionally? Ponder these questions from time to time in your idle moments. You will be surprisingly pleased to discover very subtle and important changes as you reinforce your expectations by considering these 3 questions from time to time. Now you have your blueprints. What is the step-by-step process to take these blueprints and begin using them to re-educate and reprogram your subconscious? I will share with you the most time-honored and successful process that is used by superachievers in almost every country where progress, personal growth, and entrepreneurship is valued. Programming all of your goals should take no more than 10 minutes. So, select a time during the day or evening where you can take an uninterrupted 10 minutes. Select a time when you are most alert and at your psychological and physical peak. If you are a morning person, do it before you go to work. Or you may prefer late afternoons, or just before going to sleep. Be compatible with your personal psychology, energy level, and daily rhythms. For example, I have always done my programming after my late afternoon daily workout. Following this, I usually meditate for 20 minutes or so to continue the de-stressing and decompression of the day, and then slip into 10 minutes of programming at the end of meditating. By the way, some people prefer to program twice a day, but regardless, always program in a relaxed, unhurried state. If you find yourself missing a session, don't worry about it. Make it up the next time. If you are rushed and late for an engagement, it's best to pass and wait until you have the time to ease in and ease out of the state. Remember, like a palm dance rather than a slam dance. Always begin your session by taking 2 or 3 minutes to progressively relax all your muscles, starting at the top of your head, and imagine wave after wave of magnetic-like relaxation flowing through each of your muscle groupings: scalp, face, neck, shoulders and arms, upper body, and so on down to your toes. Then, take a few moments to take several deep breaths. Hold them and release, allowing yourself to experience yourself more deeply with each breath. If you have a special process or technique that has worked well for you before, use it. You'll find your own groove with time, and it will become ever so much easier to deepen your awareness and relaxation with practice. The importance of relaxation cannot be overemphasized, but allow me to provide you with a metaphor that hopefully will add more depth and meaning to what you will be doing. Imagine your left brain representing solar consciousness and your right brain a lunar consciousness. To understand the distinction between the two, imagine you have had the experience of driving along a freeway to, say, Omaha, Nebraska. It's late afternoon. The sun is starting to set. You are 60 miles away, and you turn on the car radio to pick up an Omaha station, but all you get is static, and the barely discernible program fading in and out. The reason is that there are interfering energies from the sun, or solar energy, ultraviolet sunspot flares, and the other wavelengths and spectrums of energy that create interference and static. However, the moment the sun goes down below the horizon, you no longer have the crackling and interfering static from the sun, and suddenly, not only can you pick up Omaha, but WGN in Chicago and other cities up to 600 or 700 miles away. That metaphor is applicable to the need for quieting the monkey chatter, self-talk, and static of your solar left brain consciousness, so the lunar right brain consciousness, which straddles many more octaves of consciousness, can be mobilized. As you slip into your lunar consciousness, you are also slowing the brainwave activity to an alpha-theta state, which means your images and words will be much more easily received and accepted to make programming even more powerful and effective. You'll also find that the relaxation will release more energy from the body for mental focusing. Your images will become clearer with lunar consciousness, not unlike the dream state, and the relaxation and right brain emphasis will allow your body-mind to be more receptive to inner healing and drain off the toxins from a stressful day. Of course, if you decide to do your programming just before you fall asleep, it's the last experience you provide your deeper mind, and quite likely, your subconscious will take those images and weave them into some of your dreams, which are energy blueprints of the future. So, to begin programming your first goal, always start with the feelings of joy, happiness, and excitement associated with the attainment of that goal. Maintaining the feelings, gently bring in your right brain image of the end goal. Allow a few moments for the image to become clearer. Remember, sensing your image or feeling it or seeing it with your heart is just as powerful as seeing it with your mental eyes. Then, silently begin repeating your supporting affirmations over and over while you are feeling and creating your mental movie. Thus, you are programming simultaneously with all three brains. Program with gusto. Feel surges of energy as you pump the words, feelings, mental pictures into your subconscious for approximately 30 seconds. Allow the words and pictures to fade and experience just the feelings the last 5 to 10 seconds. Then stop. Clear your mind and repeat the programming for that same goal once more. Next, while still in your altered state of consciousness, go on to program each goal twice in the same fashion until you have completed each of your 6 to 8 goals. Therefore, the total time spent to program or re-educate your subconscious is no more than 10 minutes. To repeat the sequence, start with your feelings or emotional affirmations. Bring in the pictures, supported by repeating the affirmations, all three brains simultaneously. Then, just like the afterglow when you turn off the TV, finish with surging your feelings into your subconscious for a very brief period. How long does it take to create new mental software, leading to achieving your goals and dreams? I have taught these techniques to thousands of persons, and for those who made the commitment to program every day, most people begin to see subtle changes and progress in their short-term goals within 2 weeks, providing they have processed out the old roadblocks. Incidentally, you have been using these techniques all of your life, perhaps without knowing it, or perhaps using them in a haphazard or unstructured manner. How well have these mental patterns been working for you? Simple. Look at your life. Look at your achievements, your career satisfaction, your income, your body image and health. the quality of your relationships, the quality of your friends and associates that you have drawn into your life as a reflection of your self-esteem, remember, like attracts like, and the overall sense of joy and happiness that permeates all areas of your life. If you feel good about how things are unfolding for you, wonderful. Keep doing what is working for you. If not, use the techniques that have been described, and you will be pleased to discover the increasing sense of control, mastery, and personal power that you will be infusing into every corner of your life. Finally, I would like to share with you what I do to initiate a new goal into my dream bank. Upon the attainment of a goal, I'll spend some time considering the next dream or success goal that I want to replace with the one just achieved. Using the metaphor of a farmer planting a new crop, I'll take the full 10 minutes I allot to programming time in the day and will program just the one goal. I use a whole spectrum of approaches. Programming with all three brains simultaneously, then just experiencing and programming feelings, shifting to 2 or 3 visualization techniques such as collage, strobing, going on to multiple space, energy, and time programming, as we described in the last session, and episodic waking dreams, or running a mental movie of my achieved outcomes. I liken this to the farmer digging the furrows, nice and deep, planting the seeds, dream seeds in this case, and then covering the furrows with dirt. In other words, I put a great deal of energy and technique into the very first session of planting a new goal into my subconscious. From then on, I simply water the crop with my daily visualizations and programming. After all, if visualization is simply reprogramming and re-educating your subconscious for desired outcomes in your life, why not invest extra energy in the first session to really prime the pump? As you have gathered by now, I'm offering you a rather wide spectrum of techniques, a smorgasbord, from which you will select a smaller sample which feels right for you and your personal psychology and style. The farmer planting the crop metaphor has worked very well for me, and you may wish to try it as you are ready to plant your dream seeds and seeds of consciousness in the garden of your subconscious. In the next session, we'll be covering special applications of imagery in many different areas of your life.